The school bell rang loudly through the hallway, but inside the chemistry lab, time seemed frozen. The new teacher stood silently before a group of restless seniors, her calm posture a stark contrast to the chaos brewing in the back of the room. Her name was Ms. Carter, and she had joined just 2 days ago. No one knew much about her, except that she spoke little and carried herself with quiet discipline, something that immediately drew attention from both the respectful and the reckless, but among those reckless few was Derek, the self-proclaimed king of the seniors, tall, arrogant, and used to being feared. He'd made a habit of tormenting every new teacher who came through the school, enjoying the power it gave him. Today, he had his eyes set on Ms. Carter. "Hey, teach," Derek called out with a mocking grin as she wrote on the board. "You sure you know what you're doing? Looks like you're shaking already." The class chuckled, sensing a storm about to break. Ms. Carter paused for a moment, then turned with that same serene expression that neither fueled nor discouraged him. "Why don't you come up here and show me how it's done, Derek?" she said evilly. The challenge caught him off guard. The laughter now turned toward him. His smirk twitched, and he stood up, pretending confidence. He swaggered to the front, his friends egging him on. Ms. Carter handed him a beaker. "Now, measure 10 milliliters of acid," she said. He fumbled, poured too much, and the mixture started to bubble dangerously. She quickly took the beaker from him, preventing an accident. But Derek's pride had already shattered. "You think you're better than me," he growled, stepping closer. "I think," she replied quietly, "you could be better than this." Her calmness only enraged him more. In a sudden burst of anger, Derek grabbed her by the throat, slamming her against the lab counter. The room went silent. Even his friends froze. No one expected him to actually do it. For a second, her expression didn't change, no fear, no panic. Only an unsettling stillness in her eyes, like she had seen far worse. Then, in one swift, precise motion, she twisted her body, grabbed his wrist, and flipped him over the table. The thud echoed across the lab as Derek crashed to the floor, gasping for breath. The class gasped. Miss Carter stood tall, composed, as though nothing had happened. "Everyone out," she said firmly. "Now." No one argued. The students hurried out, whispering in disbelief. When the principal arrived minutes later, Derek was still sitting on the floor, stunned, clutching his shoulder. He tried to explain, but his words stumbled out incoherently. Ms. Carter simply stood by, her hands behind her back, waiting. After the chaos settled, the principal asked her into his office. "Ms. Carter, I know this looks bad," he said nervously. "But the board will need an explanation." She took a deep breath, then opened a small folder from her bag. Inside were old service certificates and a faded ID. The principal's eyes widened. "You were," he began. "Yes," she said softly. "Military training officer. 12 years. For a moment, silence filled the office. Then she added, "I didn't join this school to fight, sir. I joined to teach discipline, not through fear, but respect." Word spread like wildfire. The next day, the same students who laughed at her walked into class quietly, heads low. Derek wasn't there. He had been suspended, but before leaving, he'd told his friends, "Don't mess with her. She could have broken my neck, but she didn't." Days passed, and the class slowly began to change. Ms. Carter's lessons went beyond chemistry. She taught them about self-control, courage, and respect, lessons that went far deeper than the textbooks ever could. One day, Derek returned. The silence was heavy as he walked up to her desk. "I wanted to say, sorry," he muttered. Ms. Carter looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. "You've got strength, Derek," she said. "Use it to protect, not to hurt." That moment changed him. Over time, the same boy who once bullied others became one of her best helpers in class, even standing up for others when trouble started. The whole school noticed the difference, not because Ms. Carter was feared, but because she inspired something powerful, respect through restraint. Months later, at the end of the school year, the students organized a small farewell surprise for her. As she entered the lab that morning, she found the room decorated, her students standing proudly, including Derek, holding a handmade banner that read, "Thank you for teaching us more than science." She smiled, for perhaps the first time since joining. "No," she said softly, "thank you, for learning what truly matters." As the camera pans out in your video, the message should hit hard. Sometimes the strongest people are not the ones who fight back, but those who choose not to when they easily could. Ms. Carter's calm strength became a lesson not just for her class, but for anyone watching. If you're still watching right now, remember this: true power is discipline. Speech balloon. Drop a comment if this story moved you, hit that red heart like button, and subscribe for more inspiring real life stories that remind us what real courage looks like, because sometimes, the quietest people carry the loudest lessons.